Welcome to another WordPress tutorial. Today I have kind of an interesting one for you. This is a personal blog of mine. This is actually kind of my main blog. And for a while I've wanted to, let me get that out of the URL there real quick. For a while I've wanted to kind of redo this blog a little bit. And I've got a lot of code stuff that I write. You can see here this is kind of a code post. There's some other code stuff down here. And that's great, but I don't want that on my main page. I kind of want to save the main blog page here, the home page, for just posts, just kind of random posts about life and what's going on. And I wanted to put all of the code stuff. If we go click on this code link here, you'll see that changed to category code. And this is now the code category page. So this has all the code stuff on it. But as you can see, if you go to the front page as well, you know, just the .com or .in actually in this case, you can see that it's got all those posts. And I don't want all those posts. I just want blog posts to show up on this first page. So I want to get just this category of posts to show up on my front page here. And then all of the code posts to show up on the code page. And then I've got other pages as well, like creative and writing. And I'll probably add some other stuff later. And my God page, which I haven't really put anything on yet, I don't think. Yeah, don't have anything on there yet. So just kind of different portions of my life that I want to put things on. The blog page has some stuff on it, but I want the home page to be the same as that. So it's the same as the blog page. So I'm going to show you how you can change your WordPress page to only have a specific kind of posts for each category to be on that page. And we're also going to talk about how to make a category page to make different stuff happen for different categories on each template. So one of the problems, if we go to the admin here, one of the problems is if we go to our appearance tab here on the side and then go to editor here, one of the problems we have is you can't really add more files here. And one of the things you need to do to get this category page working, see, this is really the main blog page at the moment. And so it's just adding this there because that's a category. But what if I want to do something differently with that category? I can't do it because the way that you're supposed to do this, if you look it up in the WordPress codex, is you're supposed to add a category page here, category template, that should say category dash whatever your slug is for your page. So the slug in this case would be code. If you see at the top here, if you look at the URL, the category is here and then code. So you should have a page that literally is category-code.php. That's how that should look. That's what we should have kind of in the back end here. So to create that file, we could go use FTP. Let me see if I can size this down a little bit so we can see it. There we go. So here's the FTP site there. And, you know, I could just go in here and I could create a new file. But what if you don't want to do that? What if you don't have FTP access? Or what if you don't want to get all crazy with FTP and try to figure all that out? It can be a pain. So here's a really quick tip on how you can create your own category template in your theme, in any theme. Okay, I'm using Bookie. I have a bunch of other ones in here too. But I'm using the Bookie theme right now. Let me show you how you can make your own category template. Let's just go to header because it's a good place to do it. And I've got this code sitting in here, right here. This is how you create your own category page. It's really, really simple. I couldn't believe how simple when I first saw this. So I was looking online. I found this somewhere. I don't remember where, but I saw this line. I was like, oh, well, that makes total sense because touch is something that you would typically do in a command prompt. So if we had a command prompt, let me pull it up here. Like this, the dreaded black window that everybody's afraid of. You could do something like this. You could say touch, and then you could say file name.text. Hello. See if I can type here. Okay, see, touch doesn't work on Windows, but on Mac, which I'm used to using more, you can do that. Touch is a Unix command you can use. And touch just basically means touch that file and create it if it doesn't exist. So touch is the thing that comes from the Unix world. And apparently, I didn't know this until I learned this a couple hours ago, you can do this in PHP and WordPress. So I'm going to take the slashes out because that's a comment. So this is really what you need to do is put in the touch command here. This is apparently something you can do in PHP that I had no idea you could do. So what you do is you need to put in WP content, because that's where your themes live in WordPress. No slash at the beginning, as you can see, no slash. And then, actually, let me blow this up a little bit for you so you can see it a little bit better on the video. There we go. Ah, there we go. Now we can see. Okay, so no slash in the beginning, but it has WP content at the beginning here. And then slash themes is the next folder. And then slash, this will be whatever the name of your theme is. So if you're using the Genesis framework, I think if the folder name is Genesis, whatever your theme name is, that will be whatever folder is here. And then so you're just saying, I want to create, this is the name of your file that you want at the end here. So WP content themes, whatever your theme is called, slash, then this is the name of your page. Now, my category is called code, if you remember from looking at this main page here. And of course, it got much bigger because we blew it up. Kaboom. All right, so up here you can see that this is the slug for the category. Slug is just the URL, segment, the little portion of the URL, but WordPress calls it a slug. So that's my category is code. Let's say, for example, I wanted to make a blog page. I could put in, just like that, I could say category-blog.php. And what I want to happen is I want it to show up kind of like these files over here. I want it to say category-blog.php and actually be a physical file that I'm creating over here. And then I can put whatever I want into it. That's how you get a new file to be in your theme, and then you can edit it in the editor without having to use FTP. Super, super, super handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to code again because that's what I want. And this is my video, so I can do what I want to. Haha. And so here we go. Touch. WP content has to be in parentheses, of course, so make sure you have those. Semicolon, and finish off your PHP tag. So if you want to copy that right there, I will put that in the description as well, so that you can just copy it out of there and use it in your WordPress site if you would like to. And then all we need to do is put that at the top of the header page right here. I believe it would work anywhere if you put it in any template, but header is just a way to make sure that any page we visit, it's going to do it. So let's go down to update file and wait for a sec. Okay, file added successfully, and we've got our code at the top there. Now all you need to do is go to this website, okay, the main website, and hit enter so that you load the page again. Because what you're doing is you're reloading your website so that the header, which is invisible and it's up here, will reload the page. Now if we go back to our editor here, let's refresh the editor and watch what happens. Nothing. No, just kidding. Over here, category-code.php. Click on that. And look, we've got a whole file here that we just made with that little bit of code. It's awesome. However, there's nothing in here, okay, because we just made this brand new thing. What we want to do, though, is for a category page, we want to actually copy our main index template right here. So if I scroll down, if you're looking on the right-hand side, see the mouse? Woo, it's going crazy. Main index template. Let's click on that. This is all of your code. Let me back up a little bit so we can see. So I can see, let's say, for example. All right, so let's take from the index.php, let's grab all the code that's in here. Whoops. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go Command or Control C, Command C on Mac and Control C on Windows. And you could hear the keyboard sound there. I'm copying it a million times. And then we're going to go back up to the category code.php file, if you can look on the right here. And then in this big box, of course, we are going to paste it in. Boom. So we're basically creating the main index template file again, but naming it specially category-code. Now, this is a special feature of WordPress. What WordPress will do is look at this file that's in your theme folder, and it'll go, oh, okay, so you want a category, do you? Okay, well, it's called code. So what we're going to do is create that file that's a category code template, and WordPress takes that and says, okay, we're going to make this into a page. So actually what you want to do is at the top here, just change the description just so you keep it straight. Code category template, let's call it that. And who needs a period at the end? No, we don't. So we're making a brand new index page is really what we're doing. Update file. And as you might imagine, because this is the same thing as the index, if we go back to that code page, it does do something a little different. It doesn't have that header. We're on the category code page. It doesn't have that header because it sees this. This is literally the same thing as if we were to just go back to the .com or the .in URL. Look at that. It's the same exact thing. But here's how we're going to get it to be a little bit different. Go back to the editor, and here's what we do. We have to edit the WordPress loop. Now here's where you see this here. It says start the loop. All right, so this is actually below where you start the loop. The have posts is the actual very beginning of the loop. What we're going to do is we're going to modify that a little bit to only give us those posts that are in the category code. Actually, we don't need to do this. We only need to do this for the blog page. Excuse me, hold on. Let's go to code. Okay, we're on the code page already. So this, by default, because it's already the category code page, if we go look at it, it's only going to have our code posts. It does not do anything with any of the other posts that are in the blog category. It's all in code. If you look here, posted in code, it's all in code. So that's all the code page. However, the problem still is, if we go back to the main page, we still have code posts on the main page, okay? So instead of editing the category code page, we've now changed it so it's exactly the same thing as the index. We can actually change this to add like the title of the category at the top if we feel like it. I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. But what we need to do now is we need to create ourselves a different index template because we only want blog posts to appear. So now that we've got the code kind of sequestered off by itself, let's go to creative. Okay, there's a, that's funny, I forgot that was there. Haha, that's funny. So this is a little graphic I made that my daughter thought was cute, so I made that. It's Trixie the monkey. I just kind of made it in paint because who knows what happened that day. I might have had a headache, who knows. All right, so that's the creative category template. And we could actually make one for that if we want, but I don't care. Writing, this is just all the things that I've written, just kind of some, creative writing stuff. But so blog is still the only problem. Those pages are fine. So here's our blog posts, and you can see, you can tell because the title is here, that this is the, I made that too because my son has Asperger's. And let's see, we got goofy, code stuff here, whatever, but it's not code posts. So this is just, if you look here, this is blog posts. And this is just stuff that I've written, just, my blog, whatever. But I want that to show up only on the home page. So this is how we can tell if we get this to show up on the home page, this is what we'll see. We'll actually see what we want to see on the first page. So let's go edit the template now that I've rambled on too much. Let's go to the main index template. Okay, main template file. So now that we have our have posts is here, let's go, actually I've already brought this up in a tab. Let's go look at the WordPress codex. And this is the WPQuery, explaining the WPQuery. What WPQuery does is that's the loop. But this tells you how to alter the loop to be specific to a category, specific to an author, that kind of thing. I feel like I need to explain this a little bit better. So we have a category page, and because we have the slug, if you look on the side here again, sorry, I'm taking you all over the place today, category-code, what this does is that's WordPress's way of naming a file, and then it automatically picks up those posts. We need to do this the manual way because we can't name the file category blog and set that as our main index, okay? We can do that for another category page, but we don't want to do that. We want to have our main blog on the front page of the website to only be blog posts, so we have to do this manually. That's the reason why I'm taking so long to explain this, is because I'm trying to get that point out and it's just not working today. So thanks for sticking with me. Let's go here. So WPQuery is how we change the loop. That's what we're talking about. So here, if you look at the query, here's what it is. I'm going to use this code. If you look here, it says have posts, just like we have in our code already. And it says the query has posts, the query, the post, and all that stuff, right? So we're basically just going to modify the loop that we have here to, we're going to add parameters onto the front of it so that it does what we want, basically. So what we need to do is we need to copy this line so the query is a new thing. And we're basically making a different loop for ourselves here. All right, that will not work because that's not how PHP likes it. Okay, paste this in. All right, now what we're going to do, I'll tab this over. There we go. So let's just call this QRY because I like it a lot shorter than that. Okay, so QRY equals new WPQuery, and the args array is there. And let's go look at args because we need to find out what that is and find out how we actually put that in. Okay, if we look down below here, I think it'll tell us more about it. Args. Okay, so here's all the args we can use. Ta-da! Let's see if we have another example. Okay, so here's an example of args. You can see this here. Let's go to the categories though, because that's really what we want. Okay, category name. You see this? We can use that. Category, we can use that as an ID. We can use category in, so it can have a bunch of categories. Category not in, it can have, what category it's not in. And then we can also have category and, so that can be category IDs, but it can be more than one. So here's what we do. We go to query, and this is actually args. So let me show you how to format args because it's not real clear from the documentation here. Of course, that's kind of how all documentation is. Oh, here, if you see this, array, and then you say this is kind of the args. Look how that's inside the WP query. That's what the args are. So let me show you how to format that real quick. Okay, let's do this. And we're going to create a new variable called args equals. And then this has to be an array. You're not going to get around that. It has to be an array. So do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to split that array up like this. I'm just going to do this a little formatting things just so it's a little easier to read because it's going to be confusing. Anyway, let's make it less confusing by making it readable. Okay, so there we have args. Args is an array. That's the beginning and that's the end. And in the middle, we're going to tell it what we want. So as part of this args array, as you can see, you can put stuff in there. So we're going to use category name because that's the slug. Use category slug, not the name, not the title that's actually what you see on the site, but the category slug like we would see in the URL here. This is the slug, okay? So it's asking for the slug inside here, category name. So what we're going to do, go back to here, and we're going to say quotes category underscore name, and we use that big fat arrow, that's what they call it, fat arrow. And we're going to put in quotes, we're going to put blog because that's the slug we want to use, right? So because we're only using one of these, I suppose we can just make this one line and, make it a little cleaner. But if you wanted to do more than one of those, like category name equals blog and category ID, blah, 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 you can add all kinds of different things with commas. That is not a comma. You can add a lot of things, and so you can have a whole giant list all the way down. So that's why I format it like that, because I'm used to doing that. But let's just make args be a little bit smaller for the sake of posterity, and so no one calls us crazy. Okay, so we have args equals array category name blog. Okay. Let's see, is that how they formatted it? Let me make sure that we're doing this right. Okay, so there are two separate ways you can do this, and one of them is like this. You can just write the string right in the middle. You don't have to use the args array. You can just say, hey, category name staff. You can do that if you want, but I like to format it as an array because if you get more than one, it's going to be an array anyway. So I'm kind of preparing for later where we want to do category name as blog and author name as whatever, so that way we can do more than one variable later on and have it all be part of the same args array. So now we're passing the args array in to the WP query. Now the last step of doing this is let's grab this query, and the posts that are here already are not linked up to that, okay? So we have this WP query here. We have the loop that's by itself. If you remember from looking at this, I don't know why you would because you're not a psycho like most of the programmers like me. Here we go. It says the query, little skinny arrow, blah, blah, blah. So what we're going to do is put in here, it's going to have to be query dash arrow, a skinny arrow. That's what that is. That's the syntax that you use when you're using an object, and that's what we're doing. We're using an object. It's kind of like an array. So we have to say query have posts while query have posts, and the post is part of that. So it's kind of like a for loop. We don't need to do that there. And that's all we got to do. We just tell it, hey, while the query has posts, while the query have posts. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I guess you do have to use that. All right. So the query the post, right? And then, okay, so get the title. That's right. To get the title, you don't have to do. The post is the last time, because after this, it knows that the post contains the title. So we don't have to change anything else in here, and we have like a kind of a sub template here. So that's fine, but let's see, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think that's all we need. So we have an args array here. Let's recap real quick. Category name equals blog, and if that doesn't work, we'll change it to what they have. Query equals new WPQuery args. If query have posts, then start the loop. While query have posts, then query the post, and then do everything else like normal. And what we're going to do is hit update file. Kaboom, and let's see if it blows up in our face. Let's go back to the main page. Oh, look what just happened. We are now on the blog page, but we're on the main page of the site. So if you look, these are all those posts that were in the blog category. If you look here, posted in blog. Let me highlight it for you. Posted in blog. Keep clear, blah, blah, blah. All these posts, okay? So all these posts are in the blog category. And look, there are no code posts at all here. So that way we know we got it working the right way. So I feel like this video has been a little bit convoluted, so let me recap really simply in case I went too fast and lost you, or it was just plain too neurotic and confusing to help you out. The automatic way to create the category code post that we, template here that we made, is to go to the header and type in the touch directive here. And actually, let's comment this out now that we're done. But that's what you want to do. Touch parentheses, WP content, themes, bookie, which is my theme name. So that's going to be your theme folder. I will put this in the description as well. Category-code.php. So that is creating this file. And you don't want this to run every time that you load the page, because it's going to recreate the file and wipe it out. So that's done. Let's save that. Save those changes. All right, category code. Okay, category code has that code because we copied it from the main index template. Now if we go to the main index template as it is, okay, so now we have args equals the array and the category name, the fat arrow to blog, that's our category slug, okay? And then the query is the new WP query, which lets us modify the loop, which is really, really handy. You can do lots of stuff with that. And then PHP if query have posts, then we're going to start, and it says while it has posts, the query has posts, query the post, and then do all the rest of the stuff. One thing we might want to do here is instead of just letting this run like that, what was I just thinking a minute ago that I wanted to do to this thing? Oh, that's right. One thing we might want to do here is we might want to tell it, because other things use index.php, not just our homepage. So what we might want to do is tell it, if this is the homepage only, then use our new WP query. Otherwise, just use our regular one. So let's do that really quick. Right up here, let's put in PHP if is home, because that's a directive that WordPress understands. Let's do that, and let's call this here. So we're going to have an if statement. If blah, 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 do all this stuff. And since we altered that, we need to keep that the same. Okay, so here's the if to start have posts, and here's the end if. So let's do this. Let's end our if we're making right up here, down here. That doesn't like that again, of course, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so this is, let me just add a comment. This is the end of the is home directive. So that way we know what that's doing. So if that's the isHome directive, it's going to do that. Otherwise, we can have it do... let's do this. This will make more sense. We're just going to add an else. All right, let's see here. So here's the last part where we get weird with the query. So let's do this. Paste this in. Okay, so, and then we're going to do an else. So we're kind of creating our own little wacko header here for the WordPress stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to paste in this stuff again, and then put it right here. And then we're just going to remove that query portion so that it just acts normally. So let's see here, because the home page is just the front page of the site. We only want that to happen in the front page of the site. So, and then we need to, oops, nope, didn't want to save. And then we need to end our loop here. All right, so now here, I know it's confusing, and I know I've probably succeeded in confusing you more than helping you, but I'll just explain here real quick. All right, so here's where we're starting. If this is the home page, do all this random jazz that we added the query and the args to, do all that stuff, okay? So this is the special do the blog post thing only thing, right? The blog category. And then else, if this is the end of, this is not the end of it. Let's get rid of that comment because that doesn't apply anymore. Okay, so else, if this isn't the home page and we want to use this somewhere else, we're just going to do the normal stuff for the normal loop that we would normally see, and then end that if. So let's just make sure this works. Okay, so let's go back here, make sure that our blog still works. And it doesn't. What did I mess up? Ooh. Okay, so if is home... is that not working? Let's go see if I have that wrong. WordPress is home. There we go. PHP is home. Oh, I think we need to add is true. Here we go. I've been doing JavaScript too long. If is home equals true, let's see if that helps. I might be totally way off right here, but we'll see. I have a feeling it's because I'm splitting up the array. I'm splitting up the while. All right, so let's do this the original way I was talking about. How frustrating. How frustrating when things are done wrong because I'm an idiot. That's not fun usually. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, so here's the end of our is home directive. And then let's copy all this again. And we will still do the else, and we'll just copy the loop down here. Big old mess. Let's see here. Let's do that. So we'll do this, and do this, and do this, and do this. And then we'll PHP it. There we go. Okay. I think that'll work for us, but now we have to remove this. Query. Okay. There we go. And I think that'll work. Let's try it. Yeah, I think it'll work. Okay, so now on the blog page we've done it. So this is the is home equals true. I think we can get rid of true because that if should evaluate to true or false anyway, because ifs are always Boolean. Boolean, yo. Okay. If is home, then we want to use the special loop that just has blog, the blog slug, or else we want to just use the regular loop and then go from there. Yeah, see, we didn't need the true at all. I thought so. Okay, so now if we need to use the index for anything else, it will still be good. It'll still work. So that's just the blog posts, and this is the code page, creative page, writing page. So while we're at it, let's go create templates for those, because I don't really like the title in there. Let's go back to header. Let's just create the writing template. And I bet we could do all this at once. Let's do this. Let's do the creative and writing. Okay, so then we'll hit save down here, update file, and then we'll reload the site. And let's reload the admin, see what happens. Okay, so now we have category creative. Oh, that's right, we need to copy it still. Category writing. So let's go copy, okay, let's copy the code one because that is the cleanest copy since we just modified the main index template. Let's go to writing. Okay, update file. So now if we go back to the creative page, it should work. Hey, and then the title is gone because it just has our... Now see, this is in blog too, so I need to remove that later. But, you know, baby steps. Writing. So this is my writing page. This has all the writing that I've done, but there's no more title there. It's just right in the middle like I like it. So if we go to blog, we still have the blog. Let's also make a blog template too. Header. Okay, we'll get rid of this. Category blog, so that when we have that page, we can create it that way. Again, we're going to go copy the, whoops, oh geez, copied everything. That was weird. There we go, copy. And we need to go back here and reload the page again. Okay. And we need to go back here again and reload this again. There we go. Category blog page. Paste in our code. Okay. So now I'll go back to, wait a minute, go back to here. Let's go to header. Make sure we don't remove that again. I'm going to leave it in there because that's really, really helpful to have in your theme. I just wanted to keep it in mind. That's probably cluttering it, but back to blog. Okay, so now we're back on blog. I had to sneeze. And now that title's gone as well. So each of these pages is just the page that it's on. And we have different templates for each one. And we can actually do different cool stuff. We can change the design of each one. We can change how each one acts if we want to. We can add different parameters for each category there. So writing can have like scripty stuff in there. And blog can have like something else in there, and code can have like a cool scrolling background, whatever. We can do whatever we want to. So now everything I wanted to do to this site today is all set up, and this is the blog, and then it is separate now from the code page, separate from the creative page. Oh, I didn't make a God template, whatever, I'll do that. But so that's how that works. So you can create a category template either manually with the WPQuery, or you can do it automatically by using that touch command. And both of those things are pretty advanced, but they're not super hard. As always, if you need help with one of those things, I'm here, and I would love to help you out if I can. So let me know in the comments, or I read my comments every day, or send me an email on the website here if you want to, or hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. And I would love to help out with any of that if I can. And happy category templating. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to the next video. See you later.